And NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman joins us now. Mr. Administrator, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. Fascinating timeline on all of this with the first part of Operation Moonbase. It seems like it's already in motion, and it also seems like the first things first is mapping out and exploring the lay of the land in as much detail as possible with the rovers and the drones, right? What does that look like?
Well, I'll tell you, we're off to a really great start, right? So Artemis 2, just a month and change ago, we got to watch those 4 amazing astronauts fly around the moon, bring them back safely home to Earth, reestablish NASA back in the business of sending astronauts to the lunar environment. Artemis 3 is going to start stacking this summer. And then to your point, in parallel, while we're getting our astronauts ready for that grand return, we're building the moon base. So today we had some credible announcements. First 3 missions that will go to the moon, uncrewed robotic ones later this summer. But we also announced 2 rovers on the lunar surface that have autonomous and crewed capability. But this is just the beginning. We're talking about a $20 billion investment over the next 7 years to establish that enduring presence on the moon, realize its scientific and economic potential, and master the skills for where we go next. And where we go next is Mars.
One stop, and then we're going to Mars next. Very exciting. I got to say, though, the rover designs are fascinating. We actually had a chance to take one of Astrolab's Flex rovers, one of the prototypes, out for a spin a little while ago here in Southern California. One of the big concepts early on was envisioning an outpost in like a modular, almost Lego-like way where a lot could be done simply and remotely before humans ever got there. I know that's not the prototype that you guys are using for this set of missions, but I do want to ask, that modular approach, is that still in play? Is a lot of what we're about to see when it comes to infrastructure going to be built robotically?
So the answer is yes, a lot of it will be built robotically. I would just say I wouldn't necessarily call it modular. We're going to do things in an iterative way. So the entire phase 1 of the moon base is going to be a lot of littles. We're calling it the science of survival. We haven't been to the moon in more than a half century, right? It's extremely hard to do it. It's incredibly harsh environment right there. I mean, you got 400+ degree swings in daylight versus during the lunar night. We have a lot to learn. So phase 1, lots of landers, lots of rovers. You saw several announcements today. These are the first of many. We're going to be landing on a near monthly cadence starting in early 2027 to make the right decisions. What should be the power constructs, surface communications, orbital communications? What are going to be the eyes and ears of the moon? What do we need the rovers to do? Like you said, you experimented with, or you got an opportunity to drive one of them. We're going to probably buy a dozen rovers over the next 10 years as we learn, figure out what makes sense, and roll those improvements into subsequent vehicles. That's the whole game plan for mobility, power, communications, and habitation.
And let's talk a little bit about where everything is headed right now. Shackleton Crater, which is named by, as I understand it, it's named after that legendary explorer, Ernest Shackleton, who he had a hell of a time in Antarctica. First off, very few humans have been to Antarctica. Very few people have been to space. I think you have been to both. Describe how inhospitable Shackleton Crater is going to be for the first humans up there.
Yeah, spot on with on that one, sir. I can tell you, having been to Antarctica and been to space, those are both going to be very easy in comparison to what we are asking our industry partners, our international partners, and our astronauts to do on the south pole of the moon. I mean, you're talking about an environment that is extremely harsh and dangerous, right? Forget the fact there is no atmosphere there. You're in the vacuum of space. You've got meteorites. Those are those light flashes the Artemis 2 astronauts observed when they were going around the south, when they were traveling around the far side of the moon. Meteorites, those are bullets that are crashing into the lunar surface. It's a high radiation environment. Even just the lunar regolith itself, the dust, and bringing it back into the vehicle after they take their suits off can be problematic. So this is challenging, but that's our specialty at NASA. Doing the really difficult tasks, the ambitious, the near impossible objectives is what we do best, and this is what we're doing on the moon.
And if we do start extracting a whole lot of ice there at the crater, what kind of game changer would that be?
I think this is paramount, right? So it was a good question. It actually comes up rather frequently. Why are we doing this? Is it because we're gonna mine the lunar regolith and get helium-3? Is it scientific? It's all of the above. There is so much we stand to learn from a scientific perspective. We might put rovers with radio telescopes on the far side of the moon. There is certain knowledge to be gained. There could be economic potential. We might have a lunar economy. There's absolutely inspiration for the next generation. But what is paramount is to master the skills, astronauts and innovative technology working with the water ice on the lunar South Pole to master the skills of in situ resource manufacturing that will be necessary for when we send astronauts to Mars, plant the stars and stripes, build the outpost there, and then be able to bring them back home safely to tell us about it.
I'm so glad you brought up helium-3. I feel like so many people are sleeping on what helium-3 can do. And if I understand this correctly, extraction of helium-3, again, that is probably pretty far on the horizon. But we're talking about nuclear power that may not have any radioactive fallout. There's all kinds of things we could do with helium-3. What do you think sizable amounts of helium-3 would do to a space economy if we could extract it from the moon?
So helium-3 has applications for quantum computing, and to your point, for fusion power. It can be a more efficient fuel source for it. What I will say is there is helium-3 here on Earth. We can manufacture it. In fact, a lot of the reactors up north are capable of doing it. But the question will be, will there be so much demand that helium-3 from the lunar surface actually sparks that lunar economy? Maybe we could be 3D printing the regolith, or maybe there isn't economic potential. We don't know. We haven't been there in a really long time, and we're going back. We're putting a heck of a demand signal out there. I mean, there's going to be so many landers and rovers on the lunar surface. Certainly, we're going to have our astronauts there infrequently at first until you get to the point where it may be an operational base similar to how we keep a continuous presence in low Earth orbit on the International Space Station. So there may be a lunar economy, but what we do know is there is water ice there, and our astronauts will work with it, again, to master those skills that are going to be imperative, because in the not-too-distant future, if we can put astronauts on the moon, we'll be able to put them on Mars. The hard part is how do you bring them back? And manufacturing propellant on the moon is a great place to figure it out when you're 4 or 5 days away from home and really get good at it before you send astronauts 9 months, a year away from home on Mars, where they're going to have to be incredibly good at those skills.
And Mr. Administrator, one part of your job that I just don't envy is the weird, odd time that this comes in the space era timeline. We have a lot of proven rocket technology, some of it going back to the 60s that we're seeing on display. Now we see Blue Origin. They're definitely going to be playing a big role in getting some of the smaller and medium-sized loads to the moon. But on the horizon, we also have this very big question mark, this looming possibility of putting 100 tons of cargo on the lunar surface in a single go. Like, how do you plan a moon base with that kind of question mark? What would a mature Starship platform do to the timeline that you laid out today?
I mean, what SpaceX is working on with Starship is a total game changer. I think I've referred to it as almost a light switch-like moment for humanity, because when you've got multiple factories mass-producing a fully reusable vehicle, the booster and the upper stage, it changes everything from an orbital economy perspective. For scientific endeavors, I mean, imagine the telescopes you're going to build in these things and almost these prefab spaceships and send them out to Lagrange points, figure out what they might encounter, not to mention the amount of mass they're going to be able to efficiently put on the lunar surface. And geez, even on Mars, if you can figure out orbital prop transfer, which I have no doubt they will be able to do, then you have a capability that's immensely valuable for their moon base, but also for an inevitable outpost that'll be on Mars someday. This is why we're approaching it in phases. Phase 1, as I said, it's a science or survival. We haven't been there in a while. It's an opportunity to learn and experiment across communications, navigation, mobility, logistics, early habitation. You want to figure all this stuff out before the heavy lift landers come into play, so you can give so your requirements can be rather specific. This is what we need, and you've got the efficient mass transport capability that Starship, Blue Origin, and others will inevitably make available, so you can build out that moon base. So yes, we are thinking about that. What I think is an inevitable capability, a light switch capability for humankind. We're just doing the experimentation during the first phase.
And speaking of mass, I also wanted to ask about this. Mass drivers, like there are some that say that a future lunar base would not be complete without mass drivers, which, as I understand it, because of the moon's 1/6, like very weak gravity, we could basically just build a ramp and then just fling things out into space from the moon's surface on electromagnetic sleds. Right now, I mean, this very exciting and weird time, is that wishful sci-fi thinking, or do you think that mass drivers could be on the lunar horizon pretty soon?
I think there's nothing wrong with the physics at all. I think it makes plenty of sense to build a mass driver on the lunar surface. What I'd say is the bigger question is what are you going to 3D print with the lunar regolith to then to make use of the mass driver? Because you certainly don't want to go through all the trouble of bringing the satellites or whatever the material is all the way from Earth to land it on the moon, construct it there, and then accelerate it. You might as well have just deployed it from a Starship or a Blue Origin type lander. I think the real trick is making good use of the material already on the moon, whether you're 3D printing your satellites or whatnot, or interacting with some other materials that you brought from Earth, and then make good use of the mass driver, which, like I said, makes plenty of sense. So this all comes down to what value can we extract out of the lunar regolith.
Yeah, I'm going to be thinking about 3D printing a lunar regolith for days after this interview. I really, really appreciate it. Have to ask, though, there's administrating here on Earth, and then there's administrating off-world. Like, any plans to go up there?
Well, I'll tell you, we are running super hard at NASA these days. Hopefully that's evident from the time the president released the national space policy to when we had our ignition event. We said it wasn't PowerPoint. We were dropping RFIs. We're putting NASA talent into the supply chain to drive outcomes. And here we are. We've got awards already, and we've got missions launching in 26 and 27. The point is, we're extremely busy realizing President Trump's national space policy. We're going to focus on that, and I have no doubt hopefully there'll be opportunities later on when the work is done to maybe revisit some of my orbital ambitions. We'll call it that.
There you go. That dream's got to stay alive. Finally, though, like the price tag that you kicked around at the top of this conversation, still $20 billion. But obviously, mass drivers excluded in that. But is that realistic?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you take a look at the resources that President Trump has made available between the Working Family Tax Cut Act, that's a $10 billion one-time plus up in NASA. I mean, the single biggest supplemental investment since the Kennedy era. A large portion of that going into exploration, which is putting American astronauts back on the moon to stay, which is the moon base. And then I think you take a look at the 26 appropriations, the president's budget request. We absolutely have the resources, and not only that, to dial it up, to get those landers on the moon, get the rovers there, to learn in that unique environment, to inform phase 2 and phase 3, to realize that enduring presence on the moon, and do all the other things: the International Space Stations, our astronauts, our X-plane portfolio, the orbital economy, lots of great missions of science and discovery like Roman and Dragonfly. The public should rightfully have high expectations for what NASA can deliver with the resources available, and we intend to show them.
Yeah, and just to put things in perspective, I mean, $20 billion for a lunar base here in California. We're still waiting for that link from L.A. to San Francisco, and that's over $100 billion. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman, thank you so much for joining us.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.